can't afford suits, so I'm getting. They're recycled.
All right, we are on the air, you guys. So we're going to get started with our work session for February 3rd. We only have one item on the agenda today, which is the annual update on the safe access for everyone and the street service maintenance program. So it's our city engineer Jennifer Garbely and associate engineer Camilo Tuta.
Hey, thank you for having us. We do have several slides. If you have anything you want to talk about, just bring it up. Let's go as we go through. I think I've got about 25 slides. So I want to make sure we're not waiting till the end because we might completely forget what we're talking about in the beginning. All right. So just a quick little update. Our seed program goal, as far as the holistic, is to accomplish the priority 1 and 2 corridor improvements within a 20-year planning horizon. So that's when we set up this program, that was kind of the big program. Our seed program goals are a little more sensitive. Major streets at 75% or above the pavement condition index, and that's our PCI. We'll refer to that throughout the presentation. The other and major streets would be your collectors and arterials when we say major in this program. Deferred maintenance, trying not to let any streets, go to gravel. We are trying to keep things above 70% PCI. And it's wanting to complete the 10-year project street list. So it's the overall program.
Can I ask about, it says unclear from your staff report, the PCI measurement, like I feel like we were told a year or two ago you guys were reassessing all the streets. So are you done with that? There's what you have in there now we've done that. It's a fresh assessment. Okay.
Yes.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's an incredible, it's a really good update. You'll see how it'll affect those PCIs. They've come up quite a bit because if you're only putting data in once every 5 years, that curve deteriorates much faster. If you put in multiple, then it'll deteriorate less because you're showing that your road isn't actually deteriorating as fast as the program wants to assume it. So the extra data points have helped it considerably.
Okay, great.
And that's actually this slide 2%. So the CAP engineering group run a project with a consultant to reassess and tune the existing GIS database that the city has and link to how this asphalt assessment was conducted. So both consultant and city network GIS, we combined them to make it more consistent throughout the system. So we were able to actually identify the differences and how the indexes were measured. So as you were asking earlier, this project was finished on December 2025. All this data is fresh. There are significant improvements throughout the different roadway classifications. The minimum was arterial improvements, which increased 5 points, which is 5%, compared to the year 2024. All these increases are compared to 1 year prior. Collectors, they increased almost 20%, minor collectors, 8%, local streets, they did increase at 13%. So that's significant increase for a 1 to 2 years project. So that's what these project results came up at the end of last year.
So that's a combination of reevaluating all the streets and updating those PCIs. It's also our pavement program that we've been doing. So the residential surface repair program, showing that it's working, it's bringing those values up, which is great because last year we were down around in the 50s. So,
wow, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying, I mean, part of that is the work you did last summer? The slurry.
The last
yeah.
2 years, right?
Yeah. And part of it is just the way you're meshing the data.
Correct.
Okay.
It was broken into different parts. Some of them were, this is very technical. Some of the GIS links which represent the trees, they were duplicated. Data was all over the place. So both the engineering team and the contractor, they were able to just make a single cut on each street, combine all the information, make it more consistent. That was a big effort with collaboration also with GIS coordinator and asset manager coordinators. So that was a great project, and that's the reflection. Now that we have more organized, cleaner data, and with the combination of the projects, these are the results up to last year on December 2025.
We also have the ability to look at smaller segments on a street and not like a full street length. So if you only improve this section, we can actually mimic that in the new data, which is fantastic. So just cleanup of the data, more data.
How do you keep the data accurate going forward on a more continuous basis? I know that this was kind of a big effort to get this done,
So
but I'm just concerned about possible atrophy of the data over time.
So either you do manual inspections, either with staff, which we haven't been able to do just from a capacity standpoint, or we hire a consultant that does it on a more regular basis. Or we're looking at a technology that we can hook to a vehicle, and when you drive around, it picks up data. So I'm really looking at that kind of what is the cost of that to actually, pick up that data on a more regular basis, and it can communicate with our Street Saver program as well. So there's like 3 options there that, we're looking into. Haven't gotten a price quote yet for that software. It would be, the nice part about it is it's consistently using the same data to make that assessment. Obviously you have a little bit of human error when you go through, you have to still review that data, but it's still like having that set points of picking up the same things each time gives you that consistency. That's nice. So.
Perfect. So part of the projects that help bringing the PCIs up, they were additional to the capital projects. It was the slurry seal and the grind and pave in last summer. Both projects completed almost 4.3 miles of road surface repairs in combination with also striping and markings. The combination of the 2 projects brought the overall city network PCI to 68%, pretty close to the 75% goal. But again, keep in mind that major roads are only arterials and collectors, but still the city-wide network went up to 68%, so it's decent, back from 55% in 2024. So that's a 13% increase. The pictures here we have, on the top we have grind and pave, and at the bottom we have slurry seal. So yeah, that was late summer.
Yeah.
2 things that I think are the takeaways that I've heard post these improvements. The barriers on the side, you can see them doing kind of a curved barrier. I heard from a lot of people on Olson Street that the barriers were a little too high, especially on those neighborhoods without sidewalks. I wonder, are there standards that we're going to be setting for future improvements to try and make sure that we don't have curbs that are too high, or other things that we'll do in the future to not have that be a problem as much?
Yes, I would say it's an asphalt berm, that's what it's called. And it was requested from our operations crew. We don't have any curbs to put in that asphalt curb in order to direct drainage. So you're redoing that road, now you don't want drainage to move on to other people's property. However, I do feel like a little more of assessment on our part of where is that actually should be placed would be really important. So we're gonna do a little thorough investigation on where we should be placing that asphalt berm, and then we're looking at height as well. It's kind of setting that.
I have a little bit more of details, and just to keep it clear, we heard most of the community members. There were some people that they didn't like it a lot. there were some other people also in Ardenwood North, closer to the bottom of the hills, that they were asking for more berms. So it is hard to do home by home approach. The contractor is just going to charge the city a lot of money. We worked with most of them as we were building that. Some of those that you heard from, they were completed with a mold that the contractor has. It's pretty standard to multiple cities. Unfortunately, some property owners, they were not familiar with these, and they were some sort of tall berms. I've been personally working on a different design, and that's a personal goal. I haven't talked this to Jen, to get it run through contractors and see if these proposed berm that we are putting together as part of the public works updates, it's constructible and it's feasible in other future projects. So it's in the works. So yeah, we want to improve. But again, it's like mixed match of comments, but we try to address multiple locations. We remove berms where people asked us to do. Jen went to talk to them when some of the conversations needed some touch. And again, we heard from other people in other parts of the city that they needed more berm. So our transportation team, they were able just to add on top of what it was already existing. So we're trying to accommodate to all the needs on the city.
I think also we missed the part where when we said we're going to do the program, we should also let them know that those berms are coming. So when we reach out, hey, if you do not have berms, you might be getting berms. Like that's potentially coming. So that's not a shock. I think it took the community as a little bit more of a shock than it had previously.
I appreciate, because I've also heard from people who complain about their neighborhood flooding because of like without a berm. So I appreciate that you're doing a balance there, and especially like you all are doing an unintentional program going forward. And I know even with the berms that were too high, I really appreciate you all going back and lowering them down. Responsive. So
Yeah, there were a couple of homes that they have people with wheelchairs that unfortunately we did not know. We talked to them, they let us know fast, and once the berm was in place and the contractor was able just to cut those sections and making sure that people with wheelchairs as well, they will have normal and safer access to their properties.
yeah. The second thing is with slurry seal. There's a conspiracy that's gone around my neighborhood that it was poured when it was too hot, and that's why it's like speckled, or the like slurry seal on 30th Street has these little blobs all over. I'm happy it is much easier to bike. So in some ways I'm like hoorah, but I'm just wondering, like, are there things that we can do for some of the aesthetics after the slurry seal, or to have a more consistent pour?
Well, I think one of the problems this time, because there was that complaint in Island Station as well, was that they were doing it very late in the day, and then they didn't keep up the street closures. So they reopened the street before it had cooled, and people drove on it. And it was hot. So it was staying melty and soft longer because of the heat. But it was also that they reopened the streets too.
I am familiar with some of those where the contractor had to come back and add another layer for what the mayor is mentioning. We're hoping for the park, I remember. So.
And I don't know what conspiracy theories are the real ones, but I'm just curious, like, what lessons you've learned that you're thinking about for the next slurry seal program.
I would say we do that program through Hillsborough, like a joint solicitation. We're considering not doing the joint solicitation in the future and doing our own, because we can control that. Not control, but like we can award it or not award it. We can still not award the other one, but and just having a little more control. And we still set the specs, but they don't necessarily follow them because you have like multiple cities that they're doing.
Sure.
I also feel they are doing so many cities that sometimes that quality goes down a little bit. So we're looking at possibly not doing a joint solicitation on the next one.
Right. Interesting. The drama RFPs, I love it.
Yeah, we'll see. Or we may run it and ask other cities if they want to do our solicitation. So we're looking at some options there. We'll see what comes through. Yeah.
Awesome.
Always learning.
Perfect. So what comes for the future projects to keep the roads up and running as part of the SSMP? This is a project that CIP Engineering is working on a 6-year plan for now on, where we are going to combine information from multiple sources. Those are listed on the right, the one on the top. As we all know, there is a upcoming capital improvement plan. The picture on the middle, that will be what we use to review the PCI, that's Street Saver. That's just a screenshot how it looks like on the streets. So that's data on the field. And we also did open late summer last year, survey on engagement Milwaukie for all people, all community members to feed this program at first with the streets that they believe that they need more care, those streets that are in really need for repairs. So we spread these, we share that during our farmers markets as well. We show the plans, so people will have a say on these as well. So it's a combination of long-term planning, data on the field, and community input to put together a 6-year plan for the whole city to have a more organized and more spread out repair of the roads that Jen is going to explain more later. Yeah.
Have you got much input from the Pave It Forward? I saw the
Oh,
Pave It
yes.
Forward thing. You did?
Oh, yes.
Yes, okay.
The numbers are not on top of my mind, but the last time I checked, there were more than 270 entries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That help us, like, we are limited amount of people on the streets. So having community members to point us where the need is required, that helps a lot. So that's gonna feed what are the priorities for the 6-year project, what is going to be first, what is going to be at the end of the project, of the 6-year project. So yeah, that's very helpful.
Okay. I'm glad you got that kind of response.
So we're developing that plan right now. And more importantly, that plan is, instead of just picking each year what we're doing, it's really trying to plan out, right? 6 years of what we're doing. We're putting together a CIP for the next 6 years. So I wanted to do a 6-year plan that kind of went with that. We're looking about for grind and pave, probably at least $1 million for a biennium, which is going to get us about 2 to 3 miles of grinding and lay, depending on the market and how we're doing. And then slurry seal is also in there for $250,000, which is essentially around 4 to 5 miles of slurry seal. One thing I definitely noticed is I can never control when those projects happen in the summertime. And so last year, they both happened at the same time, and that was a lot. So I'm really trying to lean towards, we do a slurry seal one year and we do a grind and pave next year. I'd like to do a bigger grind and pave because that gets better pricing, right? Instead of splitting it up $500,000. So looking at it that way, we're gonna plan the streets that way. We also had several streets last time that operations came back and said, we shouldn't do these. We need to do a little bit of repairs on those streets for storm or water or sewer. And so this is giving them a chance to say, hey, wait. We need to get that work done before we come through and pave that street. So we're prepping operations, communicating with them so they know what the plan is. We can also post this. So that when people go, hey, when's my street getting paved? It's right here or it's after 6 years type of deal.
How much did you say for the slurry seal?
250,000 to 500,000, I believe, is in the budget.
250 a year.
Yes, I think so. I think it's 250 a year. I will confirm at our budget meeting coming up as far as that goes. It'll be a slide on it, so.
That's what I remember it being.
Yeah, I think it's 250 a year. But I might combine it for $500,000 and do it in 1 year type of program. So then we only have the impact of the slurry seal 1 year and the grind and pave the next year and how that hits that summer. Just to alleviate a little bit of what's going on and what project's going on. Because everyone was like, wait, is that the slurry seal project that needs help or is that the grind and pave? And it was definitely a little chaotic, but we got through it.
In addition to this plan and just enhancing what Jen was mentioning, the importance that engineer is going to communicate with ops and trying to combine projects, especially for the grind and pave when we're going to tear out some of the asphalt. And if there are projects that are not as big as a capital project, but something smaller, and we can combine it, just take advantage of once the road is closed, the asphalt is up. That's also the goal of this project, this approach, trying to combine and optimize dollars each time that we're working on it. So.
All right. So our 9-year program is kind of not really a 9-year program anymore. So now I call it the integrated program goals at this point. So the overall program had 27.9 miles of sidewalk, 1 mile of paths and trails, 4 miles of bike lanes, paved 19.5 miles of roadway that are in this combined program, I think is what was the intention, not this additional stuff we are doing with this service repair program. I think that's in addition is how I see it. Construct or repair 899 ramps, ADA ramps, 78% of the 25-year SAFE program, and then 82% to implement the city's ADA transition plan, and then complete the city's original 10-year SSMP project list.
So I thought we completed that.
So I double
That's
checked.
from like 2007.
I know 2007. The last project I see on there, is Harvey, which is,
Oh, is underway.
so that's not gonna be a metric anymore. That's gonna fall off the thing. And we're gonna have a new 6-year paving plan, and we're no longer moving back to that old one. It's done.
Awesome.
So yes, so that's anticipated to be done this summer with the Harvey project. We'll get to that soon. But here are kind of our metrics. Sidewalks were at 10 miles. Paths and trails were over because we moved Linwood and 43rd to a path instead of sidewalks and bike lanes. Bike lanes, it says we're at 0.8. Did you double that for bike lanes on both direction?
No, that's 1.6.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
1.6.
So bike lanes, I think we have about double that. Roadways, that's 28 miles completed.
Just as part of the SAFE program.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then we're at 362 ramps at the moment. To really check those off, we're gonna have to do a program that just looks at ramps and kind of does that. So it'll probably have to be a grant that I go after or something to address those in the future. And then the 10-year SSMP is almost finished as soon as Harvey gets paved and we move on.
So are you saying the roadway miles counts both the grind and pave and the slurry seal, or doesn't count?
I
the slurry seal?
wasn't originally counting. I don't know if I'd have to double check this number as far as that goes.
This number is just SAFE program.
You say that's just safe. It seems high, but maybe I think we started doing more grinded inlays because you tear up that roadway when you come in to put in sidewalks. So I think it's helped in both sections. So really, as far as these metrics go, I think they need to be adapted a little bit more to what we're doing in the future now, right? So one thing that's not on here is shared roads. Like our Mill North is done and we've got a shared road over there. We're gonna be working on some more shared roads coming up in this next CIP. Like it'll be nice to have that as a metric. So that would be one proposal is I'd like to add that, drop off the 10-year SSMP list because that's old. Roadway, I don't think I'll call it roadway, I think I'll call it pavement, right? And we'll just kind of combine that a little bit, what we've paved and slurry sealed and add it to this metric. Does that seem reasonable?
Sure.
That is a lot of ADA.
It is.
It's a lot.
It is a lot of ramps.
And so my question, do they not exist? Do they need to be updated?
All
I'm
of
sure
them.
it's a mix of, but do you have a feel for which ones are just not there?
Yes, we have an ADA transition plan.
Okay. Is it half? Is it a quarter? I'm just curious a bit.
Since this program, we've done 382 that are either non-compliant or non-existent, as far as that goes. I'd have to look I don't remember from the plan how many we actually have, but it's a low number, what we started with.
But
Those aren't cheap.
what we started with actually identified the intersections, and we know where those
We do.
remaining 600 and whatever
Yeah.
are.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. So we're just taking through and moving along.
As Jen's transitioning to the next slide, I was just going to mention, so we're budgeting $1 million are grinding in lanes each biennium and 500,000 for slurry seal each biennium.
Thank you.
Well, and the ODOT's doing some ramps right now on 224, but that's obviously not part of our plan. Yeah.
Yeah, those wouldn't be counted towards that 800. Sorry, those aren't in our right of way, so we don't count those. But those are great. I'm so glad that you're doing them.
Yes, yes, me too.
So that's wonderful. So our safe priority project list, here's our priority 1, priority 2 projects. The completed is what we have done right now. Currently, we really close to Washington completing, actually 27, that would actually move. So 27 is complete, Edison's complete, Ardenwell North is now complete, Harvey Street is under construction, King Road is under construction, our safe spot program is in progress. 26th Avenue is in design, Waverly South is in design, Stanley is about to be under design. We're really close to get a contract with the county to start that piece. Monroe Greenway for the east and central sections are in design. Locust Road is proposed in the future. And then unfunded at the moment is all the other ones. We do have for Railroad Avenue, we have a grant to do design. So that will, as soon as we have money to do it for construction, it would move.
So, what remains to be done on Washington Street? I was surprised when it said that wasn't complete.
It's just a piece around 27th.
Oh, around the culvert.
Yes, so we,
Okay.
yeah, so we're working with the property owner. They have a little bit of work they need to do before we can finish that sidewalk safely, as we have the bank exposed at the moment. So,
And are they moving forward with their piece of that? Yeah, okay,
yeah.
good. Well, and so we got a couple letters about Waverly South, about Lava Drive. And I know, you show it on there as FY 27, which could mean this July. Or in August, are you meaning actually calendar 27?
No, I mean the summer.
Yeah.
So we're approaching a 90% design right now.
Okay. Okay.
This spring.
Okay.
And we construct over the summer.
Okay, well, I hope those people are watching. You can respond to them after the fact, so they'll be happy to hear that.
Mayor, just so you know, Peter did respond back
Oh, you did?
during this meeting.
Oh,
The exact same info.
okay.
Yeah.
Nice, Peter. I saw that.
All right, so here's Washington area improvements. So we added 45 ramps, 1.2 miles of sidewalk. We did a mile of paving for this project, which is quite exciting. So there's just a little piece on 27th, right around the corner at 27th that needs to be finished. Otherwise, everything else is done. So I'm hoping as soon as that property owner is done with their piece, we will jump in and finish it up. Landis is on that project. They're also doing King Road, so I can get them over there to finish that up quickly, which is exciting.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason that this project took so long is we had so much underground infrastructure and water piping that had to be done before the paving.
Yes, this project was slated to be done this last fall anyways, as far as that goes, but yes. because we had-
It was on schedule. It was just a long project.
Yes, it was a big project.
Yeah.
I mean, an $8 million project that had quite a bit of utility work that needed to happen in that culvert. We wanted to make sure we had 2 summers to do it just in case we couldn't get all the work done in 1 summer. And we were able to get it done in 1 summer, which made it, pull through. Ardenwell North is complete. We've signed off the project, 12 new ramps, roadways, 0.9 miles. And this shared road, it says 0.25, but I actually rechecked the numbers. It's 0.58 miles of shared road that was installed with it. I don't know if you've got an opportunity to see it, but the multiple curves, I think, look really nice. Heard some positive things so far. I haven't heard actually any negative for the project. So yeah.
Awesome.
And are you all installing or doing some type of shared road on those roads or something to help show people you can walk in the road?
So a flyer is actually going out to talk about that shared road, also just to make sure that they're not parking on the roadway, right? So the roadway is not meant for parking. You need to be on the shoulder. That's why there's a mountable curb. So that is going out, should be going on any moment to the community as far as that goes.
But you're not putting sharrows in the street.
I think there should be sharrows. This isn't showing it because I think it's an
Should be
earlier
at 29,
things.
yeah.
But there should be sharrows on the roadway. And I think as we, what that shared sign should be, I think
Yeah.
there's something to talk about. Something like what makes sense to deviate this as a shared road concept. So I'm still open to put in signage as far as that goes.
Yeah, I don't know what the perfect way to do it is, but those are such unique roads, and our drivers, we've talked a lot about Moon Orf, our drivers in America don't quite understand what it means to share the road. And if there's any cue we can give them.
So we put up in Island Station some more shared road signage there. That might be something to mimic as we're doing that elsewhere, so you're not remaking something.
Yeah, and especially for, I mean, we hear a lot of people who want sidewalks in their neighborhoods. This is to me a good solution where you've got parking and now the road is this shared facility for walkers too. Sharo's great because it shows bikes where they can go, but I'm trying to also think, okay, what tells
Well, that's-
pedestrians they can walk in the road.
Has anyone done a sharrow that's like a bike and a?
It's possible, it is possible to do something like that, not thermoplastic. So we will look into that a little bit more as far as that goes on Ardmore North. All right. Harvey. So Harvey now is under construction. They're currently working on all the utilities. The wastewater work is complete on 40th. And they're moving to all the stormwater, and then they will finish up with water. And then they will start on those the sidewalk. There'll be a sidewalk on the north side. We will, this project does go around the corner on 42nd and down 42nd to Johnson Creek. We're gonna repave that street. It should have had a grind and pave when we came through with that project. And then we're putting in an RFB at Roswell. So that's all moving forward. They're anticipated to be done this summer. Yeah.
Wow, well, that's fast.
So the roadway going on to 42nd, that gets it up to 2.3 miles, because I didn't think Harvey's obviously not that long, right?
Right, yeah,
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 okay.
that's the whole project,
Right.
and a few other side streets that we're picking up as part of that project that are dead ends,
Okay.
that we can go ahead and pave. So yes, that's how you get to 2.3 miles, correct? Yeah,
I know I talked earlier about areas that have a lot of flooding, and 36th is one that I've heard neighbors talk a lot about the flooding at the end of their roundabout or their little, what is it called? The cul-de-sac at the end.
it's
And I
at
just,
40th, right? The cul-de-sac at 40th, and that turn, the loop?
no, sorry, at the end of 36th, they've got an area that floods there. that they've
Pretty
pointed
sure
out.
they're getting our first stormwater lift stations going in with this project to address some drainage issues, flooding, and then pumping it because it's down low, so it needs to pump it up to Harvey.
That's actually the cul-de-sac at the end of Harvey, where Harvey and 42nd come in, that's where we're getting the pump station.
The lift station, are you sure?
So, yeah,
Okay.
so the lower, upper right,
I
that's right in.
thought that was getting a new dry well. And I think there's another storm issue happening around 36.
Regardless of where or what it is,
So,
I know that they
I
at
think-
least have been banging the drum
Double check.
about flooding there.
Yes. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure that's where it's around 36 is my understanding. There's also work happening at that cul-de-sac that needs to be repaired as well. But I'll double check. Okay. It's all you.
King Road, we finally start construction December 2025. It is expected to be completed by fall 2026. This project is going to be adding 67 ADA ramps, 2.85 miles of roadway that counts all the lanes on each direction of the center turning lane as well. And it will add almost 1 mile on each side of King. That's why it goes up to 1.9 miles of multi-use paths. None of these improvements were included on the summary that I provided yesterday, on the previous slide, sorry. So again, this is going to be included on next year's update. Currently, there are 2 crews on the field. One is gas with Northwest Natural, and then the contractor, Landis & Landis. They did start with the Clackamas River water work that's already completed. That was done by the end of January. The contractor is working on potholing to identify minor and more specific utility conflicts. They're working on it, and they're going to start demolition of sidewalks and driveways on the east end, closer to Linwood. Stormwater started working already. They already started implementing some of those pipes and dry wells. So that's all that you've seen between Stanley and Linwood. Yeah, that's general information that I have for King. Any questions?
Mayor, if I could real quick, I just wanted to give Jen, her team, a shout out, and you as well, Camilo, on the work for King Road. This is a lot of disruption, obviously, on one of our largest arterials. So, you felt it.
I lived there.
Yeah, not everyone's going to be happy about some of this disruption, but the 2 of them did a good job with a number of our businesses, especially some tricky potential entrance closures that we were able to avoid too.
Thank you for adding that. Yeah, we've been working with businesses, especially at the corner of Linwood and King. We've been able to hear them, work with them, propose solutions. Also community members, we've been talking to them. We've got a couple of water pressure situation last weekend, yesterday. All pipes that nobody knew they were there. So they were hit the main. So our ops teams, they came back, they fixed it. So yeah, it's very important. Something that I want to highlight that is not super good is speeds through construction zones. We've seen and we have videos of people speeding, going over cones, ignoring the signs. The contractor is kind of concerned. We had to add speed limits on both approaches. I want to also shout out to the Milwaukie Police Department. They were last week on that detail. They will be having more presence on King Road, but again, it's a daily reminder that safety is our first priority. I've been sending bi-weekly updates on email lists to property owners and also the city's website. I am working with Milwaukie PD and our community outreach team to post reminders for people to please slow down. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think the Milwaukie PD has a big following on Facebook. I will tell you that. And so if they would post something to Facebook about this, I think it could be helpful.
It's coming in the next couple of weeks. And so just a reminder, if people are seeing us out there, just please slow down for our cruises. Yeah, we don't want to change a couple of seconds for a life or something. So it's very important.
Yeah, so we've dropped it to 25 miles per hour, but I have, it's more of a construction, posting. If that doesn't work, I will do a temporary traffic reg and then say fines are doubled if you are speeding through the construction zone. So I'm hoping we can get it through, people to start, slowing down through those signs, but if it becomes a safety factor, I'll step that up even more.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of pedestrian activity on King. A lot of bus stops, a lot of shops, bikes. I mean,
School buses. Yeah. We've been trying to communicate with most of them. We've talked to Wichita Center. The contractor is adapting their schedule to Wichita Center as well on their operations. We're already working on the flashing lights for home and Wichita Center. Most of that work is going to be completed overnight to avoid disturbing the traffic and having less pedestrians on the field. So We are accommodating to minimize impacts and noise as well. So it's a big effort between multiple parties, multiple stakeholders. But so far it's going well. Yeah. So
Well, thank you for doing that.
Well, and I just wanted to say, I went to you guys had a open house or whatever you call it at the Linwood or Llewellyn Elementary. And when was that? September, October?
November last year, right
November.
before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I attended that. I thought you guys did a great job, and the contractor was there and really answered all the questions. It was amazing to me that as long as we've been talking about this and as many open houses and design things, there were still people who acted like they had no idea this was coming. I was like, really? We've been talking about this for like 3 years, people.
And just to echo that, I've received multiple emails of people mentioning that they were not aware of the project and they didn't know what was happening. So I've been trying to address one by one, taking some time to explain. I've been always trying to use the city's website for people to get access to all the designs and all the changes. And again, a bi-weekly update, that's what I am trying to do. So people is up to date, they don't get like out of guard of what are the changes and construction that is coming. So if you're listening, just go to the city's website.
Does the PD have like a speed van or something that, a camera van or something that they can put there?
I don't
Yeah,
think
good-
they
They,
have
good-
it right now.
gave it back when they
Yeah.
quit using it.
Yeah, good
That was a
Good
contract.
spot for our new camera program.
That's not.
There's Scott.
Really nice. Scott, Cedar reporter. First fish herons. This project was given to me early last year. Scott reached out to me to help them and coordinate with the tribes and the Parks District to install 3 art planes at the Milwaukie Bay Park, close to the steps that go down to the bay. We've been in multiple meetings with the tribes, the contractors, finalizing the designs. Everything has been very interesting and super exciting. We have design approved as of last week. It is expected that construction is going to take place late February, early March. We are trying to have a ceremony for first fish herons, which usually happen in mid-March, for the tribes to having their artists and sculptures, the first round of arts display this March. We're trying to hit that deadline, but yeah, everything is moving fine, and I have another update on the next slide. Just a little bit more of the details of what we're going to look like. These are the designs, so there's going to be 3 planes. As you can see, well, this one you cannot see proper. The picture in the center is how they're going to be laid out. That's a scene from the top. So you can see like the little steps on the right-hand side. They will be behind the current rock wall that is on the park. We're not going to disturb the park at all. It's just going to be on what is already existing. The picture on the left, that is the side view. It's going to be approximately 4 to 5 feet behind the existing rock wall. The planes are going to be capped with a stone veneer around to support added aesthetics. Again, all these details we've been working with the tribes like almost once a month. What they prefer, what the materials, colors, all of that. And right on the right-hand side, we see the top of the plane. This design is going to be how it looks once there are no sculptures in display, which is going to be 9 months out of the year. The art's provided with the band, the decoration band at the bottom. This PDF doesn't do a good job, but there is going to be a steel plate on top of it to avoid people for jumping onto the planes and hurt themselves and keeping people out of them. There is a blurry design, which is going to be the heron that is currently on the mural on the post office. The same heron is going to be used here. It was approved again by the tribes, so very exciting, really cool project to work on. So hopefully mid-March, we're gonna have an opening ceremony for those.
So the pyramid will come off and the sculpted art will come on, and it is.
And then we just store those
Yeah,
until.
yeah.
And are you saying the art will be up 9 months and down 3, or the art will only be up 3 months?
Correct.
Oh,
All
wow.
3 months
Yeah.
up, just for the time where spring comes for the fruit.
Oh,
or
okay.
the herbs.
I didn't
And
realize.
all of these sculptures, they're going to be curated and organized and admin by the tribe's arts department. So they will provide their own sculptures every year. It's a new round every year.
Yeah, incredible work. I mean, honestly, this has been a long road, and that recorder,
Yeah, thank
recorder's been a
you.
big part of it.
Thank you big time, Camilo and Jen, for making sure this gets done. Very exciting. It's just, the tribe brought this to us, I think, in 2020. So we're lucky to have been on this.
So you guys you're working with them on a date for a ceremony of some sort?
We are. There's a discussion about a talk at the library to talk about placemaking. That'll sort of coincide with this work, but yeah, we're letting the grand run be that sort of setting a date. It may lead into April in terms of when this event happens, based on the tribe's schedule.
Okay.
We're on track to do our part of this idea. If you remember, the city signed an agreement with the Grand Run, and our part is to pay for and install this part. And then going forward, we support programming, but finding new artworks every year, it's going to be on the tribe.
Is CPRD included in all this?
Yes.
They've been since day one. They are part of the check-in.
Correct. All right, so Monroe Greenways, now we have some updated projects that are going on. Our east section that goes from 37th on Washington to Linwood on Monroe is being run by ODOT. I did hear today that it looks like that bid date's gonna get pushed to winter
Really?
2027. So just as a heads up, we're doing what we can. It's not in our hands as far as that goes, but they did inform me that it looks like it's going to be 6 months pushed from what we thought it would be. So Central's moving forward. We're under design. We plan to go out to bid this summer as one of our projects. So we might be designed and constructed before they even get started. We'll see. But we're still moving that piece forward, and we've had one community engagement. And I think there's a possibility of a second one coming up.
So central means from 224, the new intersection, to 42nd? What is central?
Central means from 21st Street
Oh, okay,
through 224.
okay,
And then to connect to
7 acres.
7 acres.
okay.
However, I do have it, the railroad crossing is on its own schedule. It won't be ready for this summer. So we'll go up to Campbell. We can finish right before that. As we'll need permission from the railroad to do that piece to get across the railroad to tie in. So that's going to be on its own little level schedule.
Whenever you do that railroad coordination, I know that 34th intersection, there's a lot of stuff connecting there. I would be really curious about what that intersection looks like going all the way through up to, what street would that be?
34th.
34th, if you just keep going north. I know in our TSP, we had that connectivity. Would that connectivity happen in this project, or is that?
No.
Okay.
That connection can't happen until the water treatment plant gets relocated to the upper treatment plant.
And what's the timeline, or what would that look like?
The upper treatment plant is, I'm hoping it's done by 2030.
Okay.
That's my plan. It's supposed to be done by 2030.
I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, until I get everything moved up, we can't make that connection. Because we're gonna need that site. And we gotta bring a raw water pipeline up to that north section. More to come. So yes, what I am doing is we are trying to ask the railroad, what can we do within proximity of the railroad, and trying to get what, because they do have a stay up to 150 feet.
Okay.
So that's where when you're in those
Boundaries.
boundaries,
You need to
we
coordinate.
have to get it approval. It makes it interesting. What I'm allowed to do.
I have a question in regards to the Greenway, because there's a pretty good development going on off of Monroe.
52nd.
Is that where it is? Isn't there one that's right past Stanley going in?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
farm property.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So how is that going to impact the classification of Monroe Greenway? Because it's a pretty big project. It's going to be a lot more vehicles
Oh,
come and go.
Monroe is a collector.
Oh, it's a collector. Okay.
It's already labeled as a collector.
Do we anticipate the changes going and helping mitigate some of that traffic that's going to happen? Because I still anticipate Monroe being used as a cut through. Well, that and then additional all those properties being built on it. It's gonna
Well, the
increase number
speed
of-
cushions and the speed tables that are being installed on Monroe aren't gonna, I mean, yes, you can still take it, but you're not gonna be able to drive fast.
Less likely.
Okay.
So we're controlling speed. I also plan with our 20 is plenty kind of program, it's a bike way. So I'm planning on rolling that out as 20 miles per hour instead of 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just worry about the increase.
I do like, we can put a marker down and think more about, are there other treatments that might have to happen to discourage traffic after we see whenever ODOT eventually gets to the project?
Yeah,
what it
I mean, I
looks
think we should install there's quite a few improvements that are going in. And it's gonna feel a little bit narrower too because of the sidewalk going in,
Yeah,
right?
right.
That piece as well. And we're not making the road wider as far as that goes. So it's gonna have a different feeling when all those improvements come in.
Perception, same as King Road. King Road is gonna be the same number of lanes, almost the same width, but with all the elements on the sides, is the perception, so drivers feel that it's busier, but they will have to slow down just to comply with speed and also safety. So it's just a perception to the human eye and how you see the roads. Yeah, that's the bigger picture, but absolutely, there could be
So-
other options.
We'll do a traffic study though after everything gets installed. I know we have one right now to compare it to. I might do one closer to before construction just because it's taking so long just to kind of have what are the numbers as we get closer, like, you know, especially if I'm not going out for a review.
Have we ever done analysis of how the diverter on Linwood changed traffic?
Oh, it's incredibly how much it reduced, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, huge. It dropped the numbers enough to actually be able to bring it within a greenway.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it was phenomenal. Yeah, that was a major change that helped
Just
reduce the amount of.
personal.
And
Yeah.
also just accidents, like they're just like, you know, that used to be a huge accident prone spot as far as that goes. So,
Now that I change buildings, that's my commute line, bike to and from, most of the time it's not winter, to the works building, so it's very nice to be able to bike to work. So personal thanks to all the previous people.
So you bike up Monroe and then
Correct.
Linwood?
Yes.
Okay, okay, good to know.
So it's safe to say we don't imagine a big impact on what's currently being designed or planned to be there. That additional is not going to really,
no, I mean, I think they're
Have
gonna wanna
they-
get off of Monroe.
yeah,
That's what they're gonna wanna do. So
appreciate it.
you can still drive it, but you're
Yeah,
gonna need
yeah,
to
of
slow
course.
down. It's not gonna be a street that you can bomb down.
I mean, I will say, the first Monroe Greenway Working Group, I think was the year I was elected to council in 2014. So it's kind of frustrating to know that it's being put off again, but I guess the silver lining is we'll be done with King Road by the time they're working on.
That is a good way to put it. That's a very positive way to put it. You're right. We will be completely done with King Road at this point.
And in addition to just fixing the road and providing more multi-use paths, that's priority number one, providing alternatives mode of transportation.
Right.
That will be hopefully helping reduce the number of vehicles on the road because we have other alternatives that are probably might be same time than just biking to at least within the city. Yeah.
Okay. So we got a few more to go. Hang on there. All right. So here is our Waverly South and 26th Avenue improvements. This is being designed in-house by Hector. He's approaching a 90% submittal. And so we are moving this along. I'm anticipating this project and Central Monroe going out this summer for construction. Those are the two projects. So Waverly South, we're repaving Lava Drive, Waverly Court. We're upgrading ramps in that area. We're pipe bursting a sewer line, and we're upsizing a 2-inch water line to a 4-inch, which should help with the blow off and fire hydrant in that area, to help with water quality and pressure.
So okay, So Lava Drive is orange and then yellow. What's the difference of the orange and then the yellow?
It looks like grinded inlay is orange and pavement overlay is the yellow.
Yes, no. I think yellow is our piping.
So you should be within sewer and piping, one of those two differences.
Pavement overlay. No, I mean, we're doing a lot on here. So grinded and paved is the orange. Pavement overlay though. I think we're just overlaying that orange part and not doing a grind
Okay.
on that piece.
Because the yellow part is the worst part,
So
for sure.
it's getting paved. It's just not getting grind because there's probably nothing left to grind.
Yeah.
There's probably not enough to grind it up. So they'll probably just do a skim to have a nice surface to pave over. But it looks like it's not yeah.
So then there's, on the Waverly Drive, there's a gap in the orange. Is that because they built a new road when they built those new apartments? Okay.
So it's not in good shape. It doesn't need to be repaired.
Okay. And is this related to the pipe bursting in the Waverly neighborhoods? These are totally different.
Two different projects.
Okay.
Yes, the Waverly Sewer Project, which is coming up next.
Okay.
So, Waverly Heights Sewer Project is up on the other side. This is a project that's in the back of the homes there. It's probably a system we should have never taken over. It should have probably stayed private. I don't know when it transferred or what, probably by accident. We are looking at lining the system. The clay pipe's 250 feet. We're ready to go out to bid. We're literally waiting on easements. So that's all until I get those easements, I can't move forward. So I don't want to bring a contractor on and be like, oh, wait, you gotta wait until I get those easements. So we're literally need 2 more easements and we can move forward, to build it. So we're working hard to get those. As soon as I have them, we're gonna go out to bid, and move forward. We are getting 33% of this project paid for through WES. So it is grant funded as far as that goes, which is fantastic.
And this is the last of the concrete pipes in Milwaukie?
The clay pipe?
The clay pipe, I mean?
I think we're really close. There might be just a couple small segments, but yes, this should be, we're not getting rid of the clay pipes, we're lining them at this point. But it's a UV liner that we're looking at.
And then is that pretty resilient?
Yeah.
I mean, because the clay is going to disintegrate, right? I mean, there's not going to be a liner around. The liner is going to be.
Is structural enough. If the clay pipe dissolves, you would still have
Okay.
as far as it goes. It's not easy to construct in this area. We have shallow depths, so we looked at pipe bursting to put in a whole new pipe, and it wasn't looking really prominent to be able to look like this higher risk thing. We'd actually buck the pipe out of the soil because of how shallow it is. You're also in a lot of rock. This is a lot of more on basalt rock instead of more on a sandy clay kind of material. So anyways, we're getting close. As soon as we can put it out to bid, we'll literally have everything ready to go.
And is that a project that happens fast?
It will.
Once it starts, it happens?
Probably going to take about a month.
Oh, really? That fast?
It's fast to line. The nice part about lining is you go from manhole to manhole, and then they send a robot in and it cuts out the laterals. So you don't have to dig up the laterals to reconnect them like you would in a pipe bursting. So it's less invasive. Smaller trucks, smaller equipment out there, which is great because those roads we don't own. And we definitely have to have easements because we're not on it's not our right way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a whole different story we're working with there. So what you might see in the budget is that we have to transfer this project into the next year because I couldn't put it out to bid in time. So we need the funds in the next, but it's just moving the funds from this fiscal year to the next. So, but one possible shift that might happen.
Perfect. The next one, Harrison safety analysis. This project is going to be shifted and included on the CIP for fiscal year 2027 and 2028, where the city is going to hire a consultant to perform a safety analysis all the way from 43rd and King, where King Road project is going to end. And it's going to go all the way south through Harrison and it's going to end on Milwaukie. It's going to be, again, probably up to a 30% concept design. It's not going to be a full design, it's just the safety, what is happening. They're going to provide safety data analysis, probably, I will assume, be able to be used for grants, probably.
Yeah.
Providing some solutions at first, depending on room and the severity of the elements. These is going to encompass 36 I believe, 36 and 37, which is very concerning for many drivers.
37 and 40.
Yes, there you go.
So we did receive the agreement back for the SS4A grant, and we don't feel like we can sign it. So instead, we decided to shuffle some things around and pay for the safety assessment in the upcoming CIP. After that, we will have to prep for getting grants to pay for the rest of the design and implementation. So we'll be looking at that. This is important though, because we still get a lot of people asking about safety concerns along Harrison. It's one I wanted more information about than just kind of making a plan, like let's get some data. Because I think it's gonna involve some dramatic changes that we gotta look at how that allows people to redirect in the area and doesn't block anybody in. So I keep getting spot proposals from it, but really we need an outside person to look at this more in depth of what changes should be made along Harrison to make it safe.
Yeah, we'll have 2 railroad crossings and 2 highway crossings, so it's important to identify what could be the worst case scenario to make it better.
We'll also do a pretty good public outreach on this. I'm thinking at least 2 open houses that talk to, hey, what should some of these, safety features be? Here's what we're proposing. Here, we heard you, and here's what we're actually looking at moving forward to get funding for design. Harrison is a arterial. Per public works standards, we usually don't have parking on arterials. So that's one that we might be pushing, is to eliminate the parking on Harrison, as a heads up.
Yeah, that would be controversial, for sure. That would be very controversial. On the grant, Joseph had told me about the language in the agreement that we didn't feel we could sign on to, and Senator Merkley, I just wondered if you guys have looped back with Senator Merkley's staff to let them know he's having a gathering this Friday. I assume other counselors got invited to that, right? I'm going to try and go. And I'll mention it to him, but there's not much he can do about it, I don't think. But I just feel like he should know that some of these things are,
I don't know that we ever responded back to the.
I didn't respond back at this time. I was just trying to see if, anything else would shuffle out about it.
We're definitely not the only jurisdiction
We're not,
in the
yeah.
country that's dealing with new language and grant agreements. So it's risky or exposes us.
yeah.
Another anticipated project, Main Street improvements. This project, just the project area will go from the north of City Hall right here on Main Street, and it will go to the north leg of Main and Washington, pretty much by the lottery store, the lottery shop. CIP Engineering, we did a scope of the project and we run through all the ops teams as well to identify what will be the needs. This was we are trying to combine as much projects as we can. We don't want to disturb Maine too many years, just do it once, do it right. So we have identified stormwater work that needs to be completed, abandoning water pipes and centralizing a couple of connections, sewer lines on the north side of the main needs to be updated. Sidewalks, that's a big one. We did a survey with a company to identify the status of the sidewalks. That was done last year, and ADA ramps as well. So those sections of sidewalks that they do not need to be replaced because they're up to standards, we will leave it alone. We're gonna just keep it up. Ramps that are not up to standards or are missing, we're going to improve those. So all of that, it's already scoped. The trees, we're going to try to save as much trees as possible and enhancing the planters for the trees to grow easier and not leave the sidewalks that we're going to implement. We're going to go with the silver cells that they were implemented on Main Street project as part of the Storm project 2025. So that will be, that was all the scoping that was completed during this year. It was not stalled. We did some exercises, but we're gonna move these during the proper design for fiscal year 2028, and possibly construction will take place during 2029 or 2023. 2030, sorry.
Just given us as a big project, so we want to be cautious when when we construct that. And there's no way we can open up everything. We're gonna have to probably go block by block. So giving it 2 years to construct just to make sure how we're impacting businesses.
So it's early to know from your one block pilot, but the silver cells seem to be a good thing.
So far, it's been solid as far as that goes. We need to get through full winter would be nice though. So, but I haven't seen any issues as far as that goes. It's been pretty solid.
And with existing trees,
So it's
can
a little
you
more.
build that around the existing?
It's a little more difficult with existing trees. So I'm going to put a caveat. There's a possibility those trees have got to come out. Some of them are, I've talked with Alfred, our urban forester. They're actually kind of approaching beyond their life or just expanding, especially if they've encroached into the curb line. We may have to take them out and replace our trees along Main Street. So we will save what we can, but there's a possibility they are coming out.
One other, if I could mention just one other thing with this project. So this is
Speak up louder.
just one other quick thing with this project. This is like a project that we have like some certainty on, but like it's also coming together with like Kellogg Dam and Milwaukie Bay Park. So there's the potential for lots of construction all at once.
Yeah, that's why I was hopeful it was still happening next year, but yeah.
I just, from a funding and from a staff capacity, it was looking really tough to push through. We would need to be designing now, and Camilo is very busy on King Road. So, yeah.
So I
Okay,
understand that.
okay, all right. Okay, so Stanley improvements, this is from King Road up to Johnson Creek. The county is in the works of getting that contract in place, so I'm hoping by end of February, we have a consultant on board. That's the plan at the moment. We'd be about a year of design and then another year to year and a half of construction. We will be managing construction. They will be, the county's managing design. So that's just part of our IGA that we signed. That part's exciting. We're getting closer. We still apply for the next Safe Routes to
Well, I was
School.
gonna say, isn't it about time?
It'll be soon. It'll be
2 years, so
Yeah,
it's
it's every
probably
2
in 2
years.
years. Yeah.
So we will apply this project for that as well to see if we can get funds. Otherwise, we have funded it in the current
The
CIP.
council president is supposed to be greasing the skids there.
That one, unfortunately, unlike our CIP, totally objective process.
All right, next, we got our spot program. I just wanted to give a quick update. We have added a spreadsheet to the website. You can now look at any proposal that's been submitted and what status it's at. So Dan is managing that for us. So we've had 22 proposals submitted during 2025. 5 proposals have been awarded, 7 are currently under review at the moment. But we're starting to get in a groove and we're starting to figure out what projects can move quickly through the system and what should need a little bit more time. We've got another 4 proposals submitted in January. That includes some speed radar signs. So we got 4 speed radar signs from Happy Valley. They're just not working. They're just, it's not, office is done playing with them.
Can you send them back?
They were given to us by Happy Valley.
Yeah, there were some older signs that they didn't want. They worked in the,
That's such like pun Wiggleton.
they were working, and then when I got installed, they stopped working, so they were new parts.
What they told you? That's what happened.
No, we actually tried them. We were excited, they got tested, and then they didn't, and then they, so, we are looking at another, the program buying 6 radar signs to place up, so that's exciting. So we're hoping to move that.
6 that would be fixed, not the movable kind.
They will be temporarily installed, so they could be relocated.
Okay.
But
That's cool, that's good.
ideally, I'd like to live them up for like a year, so you had like a full year of data. Then we collect data as well. We'd be able to download the data and see what's going on. So yeah.
The cool thing is the county has a program where you can request it in your neighborhood. You can request this. Like I did that before. I don't know if it ever showed up.
Well, we used to have it.
But it'd be cool if we're going to buy them, maybe we can start a program like that too, where people can request.
Well, I mean, we used to have, the PPD had them put up temporary ones, and I
Yeah,
thought
I
Emma
remember.
got them to buy a couple last year.
They do, and PD can do that, and they will sometimes move that around the city, the temporary,
So they take those kind
temporary
of
ones that get.
Is there a way to request it? Like if you're
PSAC, I thought.
You can come through PSAC, or I
interesting.
think there's a, through the
Let people
PD,
know.
there's another option there too. But if you send it through us, we can figure that out.
Last request that came through, that I can recall, was on 29th. We installed some out there for a couple
Nice.
months.
Yeah.
The neighbors.
So yes,
That's cool
I think
to
we
know.
have 4. I think they have, that they can move around.
Good, nice.
So, yep.
That's awesome.
We are planning for the new budget cycle to move, give them funds in the new budget as well. So that program will continue in the new cycle if you approve it. Okay, let's move on to 20 is Plenty. So the 20 is Plenty program, we came to you and said we wanted to do a slow rollout. My first objective would be to roll this out with our grind and pave, our bikeways. So we have our new TSP and classifications. I would like to focus on the next biennium, looking at those bikeways, making sure that they have good pavement, and then also reducing the speed on them to 20 miles per hour as our first phase. This would also incorporate our safe street enhancement program. The new program we're kind of looking at is looking at those bikeways too, and if there's any other mechanisms for slowing traffic down that we want to enhance with either delineators or paint or thermoplastic or signage. We would do that as a program and as a project together. So we're being efficient. We're using multiple different paths to complete a project, and then we're done. What? So with that, I would like to bring this spring A ordinance to move that program forward. Any issues there?
That's great.
Perfect.
Sounds great. So you're saying the first biennium, focus on bikeways,
Yeah.
and then after that, move into the rest of the city?
Yeah. Yeah. We're already going to be there. It'll be easy to add the signage. I could either do it in-house or I could attach it to a contract if need be. So it gives us multiple options there. To be efficient also with that.
Makes sense?
Yeah. Okay. Public Works standards, sorry. We are in the middle of a Public Works standards update. Just a few things that have come up in the last 2 years. It's been about 2 years since we've had the last one. Some tree items, as far as protecting trees, we're adding some information about that. Stormwater manual, we're updating that. We're at a 2016 stormwater manual, Portland's, and we're gonna move to the current 2025. So we're bringing that into the Public Works standards because there's a few things we don't like about it. And so in that Public Works standards is gonna tell us what we want to keep that we like from the 2016. So this is probably about 2 weeks away before I post to the community, and then they'll have 30 days to review it. I'll let you know when that goes live or whatever. And then we're looking at like April to be in effect.
So when you post, something goes out, do we put that on Engage Milwaukie or something?
Yeah, I'll post it in the library, and I'll post it here at City Hall, actual hard copies, and then we'll do an actual also electronic. So, yep. Okay, our water engineering services, quick update. So, well 8, we tested for PFAS. It came back negative at the moment. That was good news. We are looking right now, though, as far as, do we have an opportunity to transfer those water rights to our other wells? That we could then draw a little bit more and then kind of maybe not deal with well 8. So we're looking at that option.
Is well 8 the one on Lake Road?
Yes, and it has iron and manganese issues. So, does that keep
It's just hard to treat? or-
Yeah, and
And the rest of the wells
it's like
don't?
orange color,
Yeah.
bright, brownish. So not necessarily. We also have right there, like Bob Red Mill, like they're not gonna want that type of water. It's not great. It would need to be treated. We potentially can still do a cleaning, so we're just looking at options to see what we can do with that well 8. If we could transfer those, then it might make sense just because we're redoing the treatment plants anyways. If we transfer to those, then we can utilize those wells.
Does the treatment prevent it from that happening, or like why does that happen? Like why does that happen? Is that well just susceptible to that due to where its location?
I think there's some iron, fouling bacteria that's in that, that geologic strata down there, that sort of layer of the aquifer. And the city's had challenges in using that well, and over the years, that bacteria has fouled up the screens and it sort of clogged the screens and made it difficult to pump and pump the water. And I think in the early 2000, maybe 2007 or 8, one of the well like burned up because because they weren't able to get the water. So they re-drilled the well, put it back in there, and they continue to have that problem. You can treat it to remove it, so and maybe even do some treatment inside the well to prevent it from happening. So we're looking at these different options. Drilling new wells is really expensive.
Yeah, sure.
So we're looking at options, and one of them being cleaning and doing a mechanical and chemical cleaning. And that would require a much more frequent
Yeah, right.
Maintenance.
Right. I was gonna say, how often would you have to
So
maintain it?
we're looking at all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, evaluating all those options and what that means.
Thank you.
Okay, so our treatment plant, our PFAS study is underway, and we should have some results in about 3 months as far as how the different technologies are removing PFAS from our water. We received approval from the Safe Drinking Water Loan for the 6 million. This means we'll get the 3 million grant, basically, that we don't pay back. And so that will be coming back to you for approval to move forward with that loan in April. Let's see, we're starting phase 1 of the design of the raw water pipeline. The raw water pipeline will go from wells 7 and 4 up to the new treatment, or up to the upper treatment plant at 40th and Harvey. So we're starting that design now so we can go out to construction basically next year. We hope to start constructing that next winter in January. Our concrete tank improvements, we pushed this work out. You'll see it in the CIP. We're going to do this after the treatment plant's up and running. Same with the new reservoir. Just can't do all of these things at the same time. So that work's going to happen after the treatment plant. What we are doing though for that new reservoir is looking at where should it go? Where does it need to be placed? What zone does it need? How big does it need to be? So those questions we want to answer because we don't want to design a new treatment plant and not know where that other reservoir is going to be. Okay, one more slide. Yeah, want to do it?
Perfect time.
Sure,
You can
yeah.
take it. I feel like
I thought I'd give you a sneak peek on the recommendations that we made to QUAC last night that they approved related to our revenue increase recommendations for each of the utilities. And we'll get into a lot more detail next week at the Budget Committee, a little bit more on this, but we know the recommendation that QUAC approved was increasing our revenues by 8% in each year of the following biennium. Doesn't mean that's what the rate increase will be for each customer because there's some rate design that we go through. This is a lot lower than we thought we were going to be last year at this time. We were looking at early projections of 21% increases for revenues. What Jen mentioned, that Safe Drinking Water Revolving Loan Fund that has that 3 million of principal that's forgiven is something that really helps us along. We're still in the mix for some more Safe Drinking Water Revolving Loan Funds, one of them being up to $6 million in forgivable principal for the actual PFAS treatment piece. So that plays into these lower rates there. Moving on to a wastewater, we recommended 0% increases on that. There's still a little uncertainty on where we land with Kellogg Dam and the sewer line relocation. We'll probably have to come back and visit that if the city makes the decision to fund that through the ratepayers.
That's the estimate though that you're given, would be a rate increase?
1.75.
Yes, 2.75. I keep going back between 2.75. We would need to borrow some money, so we've been talking to the DEQ about the Clean Water Revolving Loan Fund as well. There's some details that we still have to sort out through that. Stormwater, 0% in each of the year of the biennium, although I project 2.5% increases in FY 29 and 30. Still some time to figure that out as we go through the next biennium. And then transportation, I think when I briefed you on the SAFE program, I had mentioned that we were looking at maybe 13.25% that we needed to fit that, to fix that gap that we had in spending through some adjustments in projected transfers and removing some of what had been budgeted professional service expenses that we'd never really utilized. We were able to trim that down to 9%. And then, the Seattle Construction Cost Index is that sort of automatic inflator that we've built into both SAFE and SSMP. It's roughly about 5%. So we're recommending that as well, those to move forward with those 5%. The bottom line if you did apply that 8% as like, that's what it's gonna be for everybody, and the 9 and the 5%, for safe and SSMP, it's about a $3.90 increase for the average residential customer. But through some rate design, maybe there's some ways to sort of mitigate that. You know, we're looking at making some changes to our consumption charge and having perhaps another tier of consumption use on our water. So that could provide some ways to mitigate that expense. We'll be meeting with QUAC in March. The rate consultant's going to be back there and working through some of the rate design pieces there at our QUAC meeting. And then I anticipate coming back in probably April with council as part of the fee schedule to have some more of that discussion there.
We also put a $3 million ask to Representative Gamma for the treatment plant.
And we're also supposedly in some settlement, in some national PFAS settlement discussions, so we might get a little money out of that, who knows?
Exactly. Yeah, one of the things that we were able to do on water is we've developed some higher confidence project estimates on the projects that we're doing, but we've also trimmed our water CIP program. You know, what Jen had up there in Well 8, the treatment plant, the PFAS project, and the concrete reservoir, those are pretty much what we're doing over the next 6 years. So we've, and some minor pieces related to some integrated projects. So it's a lot more compact, but, you know, that's still $30 million.
Yeah.
$30 million.
It's like $30 million. So,
When you say 8%, and then it's the comma 8%, is that what they're suggesting to increase it by?
8%
For the next biennium?
Both
Yes.
years.
Both years? Oh,
Each
that's
year.
each year.
Yeah,
that's each year.
yeah. That's to increase the overall revenue.
But not necessarily the rate.
We're going to go through that rate design piece
Yeah.
with,
That's just what the revenue needs to be
The
at.
revenue needs, yeah. Any other questions for me? I have to go pick up my son.
That's good, we're actually at time.
Hey, this is a lot of good stuff. And I want to compliment, the team on all the progress that's been made. But, so you're doing good work. I will tell you, it's not enough to just do the good work. You kind of have to get outside your comfort zone and take a victory lap. And, sort of promote the fact that the city's doing good work. And so I want you to think about that, how you'll do it. You can't have an hour and a half and 25 slides to do it with most of the residents. So think about how you might promote this. You might have to chop it up somehow to use our existing, communications channels, things like that. But I want the team to get the recognition that they really deserve.
I think that's a great point. I don't think we do enough of that, so.
We're looking at one for Washington Street.
And it used to do
We
parties
were
at the
trying to
end of
finish it and we felt bad because the project wasn't done. So I think we're still gonna do something this spring. So we'll let you know when we got a little project going on.
Well, I mean, yeah, do something in one of the parks or something.
Yeah, parks are great. They're also better when it's nicer weather.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
can hang outside.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great.
All right, you guys, we have I have to read the script. Yep. After the work session, council will meet in executive session pursuant to Oregon Revised Statute 192.660F to consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection. With that, you can take us off air. Okay, we're off here. Let me read the thing Justin sent us. I was